Night of the Living Dead features a resilient black leader who remains calm in the face of dire circumstances. He's thrust into a crisis where he must unite a group of people and fight intelligently for survival. He persists through gruesome agony and survives amid improbable odds. And just as light begins to emerge at the dawn of a new day, he is met with his untimely demise.
Good shot.
The Oscar goes to Jordan Peele, Get Out.
This is how the Oscar-winning film, Get Out, takes a different approach to its ending. The film follows Chris, a young black man who goes with his white girlfriend Rose to visit her parents' estate. Chris quickly discovers that Rose's family is much more sinister than they appear, and they kidnap Chris in an attempt to surgically insert a wealthy white man's consciousness into Chris's black body.
I'll control the motor function, so I'll be
me. You'll be me.
The climax of the film involves Chris narrowly escaping the estate and attempting to murder Rose on the driveway. With his hands wrapped around her neck and her life beginning to slip away, Chris finds himself in a situation that rivals the horrific implications he was just in. A black man with his hands wrapped around a white woman's neck in a wealthy neighborhood.
Together, we will make America great again.
I wrote the movie primarily during the post-racial lie. So the Obama era, when everyone was saying, hey, we're past racism, right?
We did it.
We did it.
While Get Out was written during Barack Obama's presidency, it also premiered at Sundance just 3 days into Donald Trump's presidency. Running concurrently with this shift in presidency was a rising sense of distrust and cynicism toward the police, especially in minority communities. High-profile cases of police brutality, the emergence of the Black Lives Matter movement, and the 2016 election all stoked the flame to add more political depth to Jordan Peele's upcoming horror film. With this context in mind, we can fully understand these reactions to seeing police lights. This is where the story reaches a major crossroads. In the theatrical release, the police car is driven by Chris's friend Rod, who's been trying to find Chris throughout the entire movie.
I believe they've been abducting black people, brainwashing them, making them work for them as sex slaves and shit.
In the alternate ending, the police arrive at the scene and arrest Chris, who appears to have given up attempting to defend his innocence while speaking with Rod from prison, only taking solace in the fact that
I stopped him.
Ultimately, there's a third ending to Chris's story, an ending that echoes that of Ben's in Night of the Living Dead. Jordan Peele's theatrical ending is so effective because he forced his audience to consider each of these outcomes with one single shot.
What I love about the current ending is that moment you're talking about where the police show up. The audience does all the work of the original ending. So it's have my cake and eat it too.
Yeah, really.
Now, the irony of this entire video is the fact that George A. Romero, the writer of Night of the Living Dead, stated that
when Jack Russo and I wrote the script, the character in the script, we assumed him to be white. When Dwayne agreed to play the role, we didn't change the script. The same things would have happened to him if the actor had been white. The fact that these redneck posse guys shot him, that became racial instead of just a mistaken identity, which is really what we intended.
Intentional or not, Romero's shocking ending has been hailed as a groundbreaking moment for social commentary and horror.
We're driving it to New York. We had the first answer print of the film in the trunk of our car, and driving to New York, we heard on the radio,
Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight in Memphis.
And that, I think, is where the whole race thing came from.
The mark of a great ending is in its ability to stick in audiences' minds far beyond the credits, whether it be an ambiguous final shot, disturbing imagery, or a sigh of relief at an unlikely happy ending. An effective ending will leave a lasting impact. In the case of Night of the Living Dead and Get Out, their endings give audiences a peek into the social issues of the times. Night of the Living Dead ends in a rooted sense of hopeless realism, while Get Out elicits those same emotions and still manages to end on a positive note, ultimately leaving audiences to imagine what would have happened to Chris if he wasn't so lucky.